Welcome back to the Hire the Right Virtual Assistant podcast. I'm your host, Melissa Smith, the PVA and author of Hire the Right Virtual Assistant. And if you are enjoying the show, please subscribe, leave a review, like, and share the episode with someone who might not understand that they do not have to do it all. Today, our episode is going to talk about, are you in the productivity trap? So many people are, so this is not a judgment point, but it often shocks people that I am not a productivity junkie, meaning I don't talk about it all the time. I do not shell out hack after hack. I most certainly would never attempt to tell you how to do more in a day. In fact, most of my views on productivity are counterculture. When business owners aren't talking about productivity, they talk about being motivated. Another trap, often believing that success comes down to motivation. If you're motivated enough, you'll write the book, build the company, launch the podcast, stay consistent. But when motivation disappears, productivity disappears with it, and that's a lie. Because really, if you are motivated by anything other than your why, you're doing it wrong. If you're a business owner, let's be real. Even the days you're motivated by your true why, it can still be really difficult and challenging. It's not a weakness, it's a reality. This way of thinking misunderstands how real progress happens. And the truth is simple and far more practical, thank goodness. It's not productivity or motivation that drives consistent work. It's energy. And I am not a woo-woo energy person. I'm not talking about energy of the earth or sun or anything like that. I was inspired to do the podcast based on an article from Sing Bai, and the title is, I Learned a System to Work Without Motivation. And he explains that motivation is often unreliable and that progress usually begins with small actions rather than waiting for inspiration to arrive. In fact, the article argues that motivation is usually the byproduct, not action, not the prerequisite. Once you start working, even in small increments, motivation tends to follow. My favorite question in the article is when he asks, why am I forcing myself to be something I'm not? And for my clients, the question is easy. It goes like this. Why are you forcing yourself to be the best assistant when your business goal is to be the best speaker, the best author, the best coach, facilitator, dad, mom, wife, etc.? Instead of asking, how do I get motivated? The better question is, how do I manage my energy so I can start? Motivation is emotional. Energy is both physical and mental. One fluctuates constantly, the other can be designed. Anyone who has built something meaningful understands this. There are days when the work is excitement. It's like a high and a workflow naturally. But there are also days when motivation is nowhere to be found. If your productivity depends entirely on motivation, your output will rise and fall with your emotions. Many people discover that when they rely on motivation alone, their productivity becomes inconsistent and unpredictable. Energy works differently. Energy is influenced by sleep and focus and environment and health and how you structure your day. And the goal is to structure a day that uses the least amount of energy, which is the purpose of a routine. And if you've been listening, you know I love a good routine. I talk about it all the time, and this is why. It's also why I wear the same thing every day on every podcast. I wouldn't dream of giving energy to what to wear every day. And when your energy is high, work becomes easier to start. When your energy is low, even simple tasks feel very heavy. And this is why the most productive people design systems that allow progress even when they don't feel inspired. In our house, we have a 2-minute rule. And that is start it, take 2 minutes, And if you still don't feel like you have enough energy to give, then you can stop. That's how energy works. But here's the ultimate lie of the productivity trap. The more you do, the more productive you are. This is absolutely false, especially as a business owner. If you're a business owner or an entrepreneur, you're not working on an assembly line. Period. You cannot treat yourself and run by the same standards as you would an employee. If you made one call that closed $100,000 or $1 million deal, I would say that counts as productive. If you made the really hard decision or had the really important meeting, that's productive. If you gave a speech or wrote a chapter of your book, that's productive. I wouldn't call it productive just because you answered all your emails today. I wouldn't call it productive even if you had checked everything off your list today. What did you produce? That is the method and that is the measure of productivity. And for you, the most productive thing you can do isn't even the most urgent thing. It boils down to two things. One, future-proofing your business, and two, hiring the right people. Yes, things have to get done. They just don't have to get done by you. You don't have to be productive at those things. And there is most certainly someone on your team that has a list that shows how productive they were today. And that person is your virtual assistant. Believe me, I have my VA list, the one that I have for my clients, and then I have my list as a business owner. They are not the same. And that's a good thing because in one, I am being a virtual assistant. I'm actually being paid to be someone's virtual assistant. And in the other, I'm running my business. And so that hat has to be business owner. Those two lists are never the same. And at the end of a productive day, you should have a ton of energy. It may sound crazy, but most of the productive days are full of checking my boxes, emails, writings, sending invoices, scheduling meetings, and so many things that my clients would despise. They would actually need a vacation after my best day. Yet, because of what I do and who I am, it's energy giving, not energy draining. And the same is true vice versa. If I had to be up in front of a stage of people and handshake and do a motivational speaking and get on a plane and like all the things, sign books, if I had to do all those things, I would need a vacation. I would be so drained, I wouldn't have any energy to even put up my hair. But a single productive day means very little if the following week is lost to burnout or distraction. And when you learn to manage your energy and truly understand what a productive day looks like for you, you will break free from the productivity trap. Because you need days after days, weeks after weeks, months after months, and years after years. There's going to be bad days in there for sure, but how many good days can you have in a year? This is what it means to work smarter, not harder. And if you're ready to hire the right virtual assistant, I've got you covered. I have the PVA self-assessment podcast that will walk you through my process and give you a list of vetted VAs in my network. I have the PVA interactive hiring workbook, which guides you through the process as well, mostly in written form, not video. Of course, I have my book, Hire the Right Virtual Assistant. Everything you need is in here in great detail if you have time to do that. But if you would say, Melissa, I do not have the time to get it right and I cannot afford to get it wrong, then book a consultation with me. We'll have the link in the show notes. It's complimentary. I'm happy to walk you through the process of hiring the right virtual assistant. All right, everybody. See you next time. Bye.